If I had $1 every time technology was supposed to replace me, I'd have $3. Maybe 5. Okay, that sounded more dramatic in my head. But we have been here before, and we will be here again. Some new gadget, some new revolution, some new story about why people are obsolete now. This time it's AI, and no, it is not going to replace software developers either. Here's why. Welcome to B Explains Everything. Let us talk about replacing software engineers with AI, and let us look at it from a simple logic perspective. There are a lot of loud claims right now about AI replacing developers. I do not buy the story. Not because AI is useless, quite the opposite. I have been building with AI for years. I just do not think the replacement narrative survives contact with reality. I think there are three main reasons for that. Then I will give you two bonus reasons at the end. The first reason is simple. By now, you have heard claims that companies like OpenAI and Meta believe software developers will be replaced by AI soon. Fine. Let us think that through for a moment. If Meta can replace all those roles that easily, why can you not do the same thing? In fact, there would suddenly be thousands of mid level engineers with Meta experience on the market, and with a few prompts, you should be able to rebuild Facebook. Does that sound like a reasonable story? Of course, it does not. It is the same with OpenAI. If they truly believe they can create an intelligence that beats nearly every developer, why are they still desperately recruiting developers? Why are they still paying huge salaries to human researchers and engineers? Which is it? Are humans being replaced, or are human engineers still the scarce resource that matters? Because if the replacement story were really true, these companies would be telling the market that their own moat can be cloned by anyone with their own tools. Their value would collapse. The same logic applies to smaller companies. If your competitive advantage can be reverse engineered and rebuilt from a few prompts, then your business does not have a moat. It has a countdown timer. The second reason is that people keep talking as if agentic AI is just about to arrive and change everything overnight. I want to show you something. Years ago, at Mob Games, we built an AI system inside Unity that could create scripts, run them, detect its own mistakes, and fix them. That is agentic AI before that was even a term anyone used. It is the kind of thing people still describe as if it is just around the corner. But we had it working years ago, and here is the important part. That system was built on GPT-3.5. So if that kind of behavior was already possible back then, where is this massive surge in capability everyone keeps promising? That has not happened. Yes, the models improved. GPT-4 was better. The 4.0 line added some polish. Workflows like reasoning wrappers help in some cases. But the giant leap people keep selling has not shown up in the way the market keeps pretending. We went from theoretical promise to a very usable class of tools very quickly. After that, the progress became much more incremental than the hype machine wants to admit. And even if the next model were significantly better, that still does not solve the first problem. If AI really replaces the majority of developers, then the same tools also destroy the defensibility of the companies selling that story. The third reason is knowledge cutoff. Large language models require massive training runs. That means they know the world up to a point in time, and after that point, they do not know what happened unless you bolt on retrieval, browsing, or other support. That is a problem everywhere, but it is a brutal problem in software. Software changes constantly. Frameworks change, tooling changes, APIs change, upgrade paths change, best practices change, security issues get discovered, entire ways of working fall out of date. A human developer can start experimenting with a new release in minutes. Then that human gains experience. They find the rough edges. They write blog posts. They push fixes. They learn what broke during the upgrade. A model does not do that in the same way. Yes, you can let it browse documentation, but software is not one web page. It is version history, examples, edge cases, issue threads, migration paths, conflicting advice, and all the weird nonsense that only shows up when someone actually tries to ship. Only after humans have gone through that process does the usable knowledge really exist in a form the model can absorb at scale. So, even if you had a much stronger model tomorrow, it would still lag behind the living edge of software development in the places that matter most. That makes it a powerful tool. It does not make it a replacement for the people doing the engineering. Before I give you two bonus reasons, if you like this content and do not mind my AI face presenting it to you, then you should subscribe and like and share and whatever people do these days. That way, I will get famous, my dog can finally eat again, and you get more content. Plus, your friends will think you are cool if you share useful content with them. Now, here are two bonus reasons why AI will not replace developers. People will point to newer systems and say, well, what about GPT 5? 5. What about Fable? What about Opus? What about whatever comes next? My answer is that still does not solve the core problem. A more elaborate workflow is not the same thing as a fundamentally different relationship to knowledge, software change, or engineering reality. If a system gets better by spending more compute, using more steps, or checking itself more carefully, that can absolutely be useful, but it still does not magically know what happened after its cutoff date. And it still does not eliminate the need for human judgment in real software work. So, yes, smarter workflows can help. No, that does not automatically become proof that software developers are about to disappear. The second bonus reason is the claim that non technical people are already building software with AI. Yes, they are generating code. That is not the same thing as developing software. We have been hearing versions of this story for decades. This time, finally, non developers will be able to do what developers do. Sometimes that does produce something useful for a while. It also produces security problems, stability problems, maintenance disasters, and systems nobody can evolve once the first version exists. Here is a simple test. Have an LLM build something using libraries that are already a year old. Then have that same system upgrade the result cleanly to the current versions while preserving behavior, security, stability, and maintainability. That is much closer to real software development than producing a first draft of code. And that is where the fantasy starts falling apart. Developing software has barely been about writing code for a very long time. Most of the job is everything around the code: trade offs, upgrades, constraints, debugging, architecture, stakeholders, risk, operations, and maintenance. That is the part people keep pretending away. AI is extremely useful. It gets better every day. It changes how we build, it changes who can prototype, it changes how fast a good engineer can move. But that is not the same as replacing software developers. If anything, the people who actually understand software engineering become more important because now they are operating in a world where bad software can be produced faster than ever. The bottleneck is still whether someone can turn that into working software in the real world, and that is engineering. If you followed my suggestion to subscribe, then you are on your way to learn how to make AI work too. And if you have not decided already, then here is a picture of my cute pug Rosa, and she is really hungry.